What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Ryan here, and I'm back with another video. This is my third attempt trying to record this video because this recorder keeps stopping. So I'm gonna go through this as fast as I can, but not too fast so you guys can understand and what to expect coming into this week and early next week, potentially, of what could happen. So starting with the GFS, we have snow showers breaking it out across this general region right here, and then potentially a small severe weather outbreak that could break out right here. Actually, starting sometime today, actually saw some people been covering. Now, recently, about 2 days ago, there was a EF4 tornado that stayed on the ground in Oklahoma for 30 minutes in that general region right there. And then we have rain showers, well, rain that went across late Saturday night into about 4 something today when it completely stopped across Carolina, North Carolina. But the problem is there, it was just enough to get rid of some fire danger, but it's still wildfires burning in parts of the state. But we're going to still remain under severe to extreme drought for most of the state. So a burn ban will remain in effect, which Tuesday I think comes up for 1 month, since North Carolina been put under a burn ban. So, and we know down there in Georgia and Florida, there's been wildfires burning for a good bit now. At least one wildfire burnt over 31,000 acres, and it's been burning since April 18th. And one of the governors from either it was Georgia or Florida said they're gonna need at least 8 to 10 inches of rain to be able to walk away from these fires. So those fires are continuing to spread across Florida and Georgia. And I think Florida got some rain showers, but it wasn't much from the system that recently just passed, which is going to bring a cold front to the East Coast. Starting tonight, there's going to be much areas of the Southeast going to be in the 40s, mainly from parts of Georgia into North Carolina, well, South Carolina and North Carolina, then all the way up to the Northeast. It's going to be a little colder, cooler. But with that being said, we're gonna move that run forward just a little bit. Going into tomorrow, Monday, April 27th, we could potentially see a severe weather outbreak, and that general region right there, potentially going to bring more tornadoes across this region that recently saw tornadoes just a few days ago, including Illinois, parts of Montana, and Wisconsin. Could see another round of this potentially, but the risk of that might be a little low there. And then we have moderate to heavy rainfall, I mean snowfall, in that region right there I just circled. And the East Coast is pretty quiet as well, except we have little like rain showers just off of the eastern side of Florida, probably being seen in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But regardless, it's pretty quiet there. Then look like that potential severe weather outbreak is going to go up into Canada and might turn into snow in some areas. But we do have back in snow across states like Montana, that could potentially see light to moderate snowfall, potentially heavy in some areas. Out towards the west coast, it is pretty quiet. We have spotted rain showers going on there, but for the most part, it is still pretty quiet across the United States. And then going into Tuesday, we potentially could see another severe weather outbreak in that region right there. It don't look as intense for Monday, but regardless, it can still happen with heavy rainfall stretching from northern Mississippi all the way up to the Canadian border, with look like strong or severe thunderstorms breaking out in that region right there that I just circled. Then we have a low pressure off of the mid-Atlantic right there. It's not going to be bothering the East Coast at all, though beaches might be a little iffy to go to, but regardless, there might be some hazards issued along the coastline, starting from basically Virginia all the way up into Maine for any beach hazards, as that low pressure is still out there going into Wednesday. Then we could potentially have another severe weather outbreak that ramps up a little bit more from eastern Texas all the way up to the Canadian border, and potentially could bring multiple tornadoes through this general region right there, which is possible because we already been seeing somewhere around this area right here that's already been seeing multiple tornadoes break out in the last few days since I think like last Friday. Well, there's been multiple tornadoes. Now we move that forward into Tuesday. It is pretty quiet for the most part across the United States. We still gonna be dealing with a small severe weather outbreak across Tennessee, Kentucky, all the way up into the Canadian border, with that cold front pushing out of Canada into parts of the United States, bringing more snowfall in that general region right there, which can be a pretty light. And then we still dealing with that low pressure right there as well. We move that forward, uh, and because coming into Wednesday, most of that, if this plays out by the GFS, severe weather is actually into Canada, bringing heavy snowfall in that general region right there as that cool front pushes through this general region right here with the lines. The blue is bringing in that cold front. But regardless, northern Mississippi, western Alabama, especially Alabama, are going to have to watch out for a tornado outbreak, because that is likely to happen And then we cannot forget about Kentucky and Tennessee of seeing any of that as well. Hopefully, some of that rain goes a little bit more southeast into Georgia and parts of Florida to help with those wildfires, just to get some water down. But still, those wildfires going to be continue to burn for a good bit, especially as they saying that it's the wind driven. Kind of reminding you of the wildfires that went through California back in 2025 uh, around the LA area. So going into Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, that cold front is still pushing through the United States, moving more north. Well, trying to head southeast just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to get that far south. High pressure down here along the coast, well, just off the coast of South Carolina and Georgia. Then we have heavy rainfall, moderate to heavy rainfall for parts of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and then all the way up here near Kentucky. We could potentially see a small severe weather outbreak in that general region right there. Out west is pretty quiet, but for the most part, nothing too concerning. And then going still into later on into Wednesday, we could potentially see more another severe weather outbreak from that same system right there into the north, mid Atlantic and northeast. It bringing spotty rain showers across the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, and back towards northern Mississippi and Alabama. You can see the same thing as well, light rain showers. Move that forward into Thursday, um, April 30th. It's going to be the same thing, but it's like the severe weather try to breaks off a little bit into mainly a rain event across the northeast, especially up here in New York. And then we could potentially see a strong thunderstorm in that area right there, still bringing light rain showers across the Carolinas. Now, the weather is saying some parts of North Carolina will be seeing up to an 80% chance of thunderstorms that will switch back and forth because we don't know if that's going to actually happen or not. But regardless, from eastern Texas all the way up into Mississippi, there is a potential of seeing a severe weather outbreak from one of those regions right there, especially in northern Louisiana. If that plays out, out west it is pretty quiet. Spotty rain showers, rain snow mix. Well, yeah, rain showers and northeastern California, but not too much of a threat there. That low pressure is still trying to work its way out into the Atlantic still Thursday. It looks like it's moving a little quick though. And we still have spotty rain showers from the Carolinas down in the, and then it picks up into Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and then eastern Texas. And then we have that cold front still trying to push its way further south and southeast. How far south will that go? It look like it's going to get cut off over maybe just over West Virginia. Look like that's going to get cut off going into later on into Thursday, like night. We could have a heavy rainfall breaking out across Arizona and that general region and Mexico. And then up here near Maine, we could have moderate rainfall still going on. We're back in snow up here in Canada. And then the coastal part of Georgia all the way up into Carolinas, including the Outer Banks, you can see light to moderate rainfall from that system stretching back if the GFS plays out like that. And Florida seeing spotty showers here and there on both sides of its coast. And then right there could potentially see in Arizona, see the same thing, spotty rain showers, potentially a severe thunderstorm, that yellow area right there. We move that forward into May 1st. We could potentially see the snow in that generation. Now, I don't buy that that won't happen, but it is a possibility that a snowstorm, a small snowstorm can break out right there. But just south of it and east of it is moderate to heavy rainfall falling there. And then just off the coast of the mid-Atlantic and down toward near the Carolinas, it's going to be pretty interesting out there in the Atlantic with heavy rainfall from that low pressure that was making its way across the United States as that cold front still try to make its way a little further south, impacting northern Virginia all the way up into Canada and the northeast. But regardless, don't look like it's going to get that far south at all. Still going to be some chilly temperatures as well. And then going into Friday, this is going to be quite interesting for Oklahoma and Texas. You can potentially see another tornado outbreak over Oklahoma once again, and hopefully we don't see the same activity that happened recently that injured 10 people, but luckily there wasn't no deaths coming from that. So it's getting a little too far out. So let's go ahead and get into the European model and see what that's talking about. And see if anything is a little different on that, which looks like a little bit. Now, as of when I was filming this right now, with the GFS, it was showing a big blob of moisture right here off the coast of the from Georgia all the way up to the northeast from that system that was recently just passed today. Now we still seeing, according to this, spotty rain showers across the parts of the state here and there, but for the most part, most of that is out, and it just don't look as intense as what the GFS was just showing. And then right here off the coast of the mid-Atlantic, we do have storms out in the sea, but it's not going to bother. Don't look like the United States much. Probably rain showers, spotty rain showers, including the New York City area. And then up here, we do have rain snow mix in that area right there where you see the blues and snow. It's like very light snow though. And then we can see some rain showers across California, including the LA area somewhat. And then just off going into later on tonight, potentially, well, this is actually for 2 p.m. April 26th, so that's basically past. That's not really much. So we're going to go into 8 p.m. No, that's for Tuesday. Sorry guys, so we're going to start off some roughly in the Monday time frame. Yes, Monday we can still see some moderate, light to moderate snow up here in that general region. Small severe weather outbreak could break out right there, and that's possible, but for the most part that chance is pretty low. And then we have that moisture still off the coast from the Carolina, well, from Georgia all the way up to the mid-Atlantic, not bothering nobody. And then we move that forward just a little bit more going into Tuesday. Let's go ahead and go into Tuesday. Yes, going into Tuesday we could have it's broken up, but we could have a line of storms breaking out across northern Mississippi, western Texas, I mean Tennessee. This area could bring tornadoes. Like actually, all these areas could bring a tornado. I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado touched down from that area right there, as it works its way east or northeast, depending on where that track goes. Now Thursday, if this holds on in my area, might see some thunderstorms, but it don't look like that might happen though. Yeah, going on later into Tuesday, that severe weather outbreak is basically done with Mississippi for the most part from that line where it started, and then going all the way right here, that kind of intensified just a little bit. So again, there could be a tornado happen in that area right there. So I would give that risk maybe a medium risk, a moderate risk of that actually happening. Going into Tuesday, April 28th, 2026, we could still see light rain showers coming from that system, moderate, light to moderate rain showers coming from that system. This general region right here, as anywhere from the mountains of North Carolina, well, all the way from Alabama, all the way up near the Canadian border, and with light snow showers back towards that area. West Coast is pretty quiet, it's pretty dry, probably warm as well. And we move that forward into Wednesday, we can see another round of severe weather break out according to the Euro across Arkansas, eastern Texas, northern Louisiana, and northern Mississippi, and parts of Tennessee. But regardless, that is a possibility that could happen, which could bring golf ball size hail, a strong thunderstorm, and potentially tornadoes. But for the most part, the East Coast is pretty quiet, other than some spotty showers here and there, and West Coast is pretty quiet as well. Dealing with the same thing, spotty rain showers. As that system trying to move through Wednesday, it could get really intense for Mississippi and Alabama, and Arkansas and parts of Tennessee for seeing any strong thunderstorms. I can tell you the temperature is dropping really quick here as of now. I can feel it. And then we going into, let's go ahead and go into Thursday. Yes, Thursday we could potentially see that severe weather outbreak crank up again across the mid-Atlantic and northeast, bringing potentially flooding. A lot of flooding could actually happen, especially if this goes into New York City. From that rainfall, it's going to be a lot of rain coming down quick, which can cause some street closure if any flooding occurred. And then basically stretching from the North Carolina all the way up into the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and move that forward, and it turns into snow into Canada coming into Thursday. And then that low pressure is still making its way up the northeast. Then down here and coming into still into Thursday, we can see another severe weather outbreak, a smaller one though, across the central Texas. And then for the most part, that cold front, as the GFS showed, is making its way more down southeast near Virginia. So basically that was it. We're getting a little too far out to see what could happen here, but it's possibility of Oklahoma seeing another round, well, Texas, and eventually going into Oklahoma around May 1st, May 2nd. Well, actually, like Oklahoma might be just a miss, but still, Eastern Texas could see a situation where strong thunderstorms could possibly happen with golf ball size hail going into Arkansas, Louisiana, potentially make its way into Mississippi, but it gets pushed into the Gulf and then just gets scattered. And then now, this is kind of interesting part. I know this is far out. A lot of stuff can change going into Monday, May 4th. we could potentially see this goes more. So this, now this is going to switch back and forth, but regardless, if it stays a trend, this general region right here from the coastal part of Georgia all the way up into the Carolinas, going to have to watch out for some strong thunderstorms that could produce flooding. But look like that's going to just stay out to sea. Um, not bother anyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I was on a time crunch, so I kind of got through trying to get through this a little bit. I might miss some areas, but for the most part, I got the majority of you guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time your boy uploads a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one. If it's God's will, stay safe out there. Don't burn if you're under a burn ban, especially as those wildfires continue to spread across Georgia and Florida. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.